Today was probably the first kind of middling day so far working on this project. Kind of hit a bit of a wall where I basically need some sense of filler in this short story, and I'm not sure what to put in. The story requires it. The nature of the story requires at least a little bit of filler, and it's got to be just something unique to the culture that this person is in. I have to do just basically a few paragraphs just describing some element of the culture. Just a quick, short little scene where you can kind of experience the world from the narrator's perspective and just get a sense of just the environment they're in, because it is a little bit unique. So today was just kind of muddling around, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for that. And this is a challenge, not so much of prose and skill. It's a challenge of imagination. You have to sort of come up with something here. Part of it, like I was saying the other day, is a matter of knowing your subject really well. Includes the environment they're in, but it's also a matter of being very selective about what you choose. You only get to pick one thing, so you better pick like the thing. Like this better be the element that is the most unique of anything you could show to kind of expose the world of what this character is in. So the strongest example needs to be shown. It takes time to think about it. And so as I'm going through that today, my mind obviously is wandering, right? On days where I'm sort of required to use my imagination a little bit to kind of not so much work it out, not so much actually type away, which you'll see a little bit of typing here, but actually just thinking. This is when the mind starts to go a little bit crazy. This is when it starts to tends to daydream a little bit, right? Tends to wander. And something today was pulling me back to my powerlifting meet that I had on Saturday. This is not me trying to like tie in, promote it, the video, whatever. Like you can click on it, whatever, it's on there. But like, it's simply just a point of fact of what I was thinking about. What caught me in what I took away from that event, though, and what's kind of stuck with me was the size and the strength of some of the people that I was competing against. I say competing very loosely. Like I just happened to be at the same event. Like there's no actual chance I could ever actually compete with these people. The event itself was not drug tested, so many of the gentlemen were on, and from the size of them, I can tell you a fair number of PEDs, a fair number of steroids. I'll tell you. But it was interesting. It was interesting to see someone at that level, to see people that were squatting, 800 pounds, 900 pounds, to see people deadlifting 600-700 pounds, to see that, to witness people doing that. People that must have spent, a decade, 2 decades, just guessing by the ages. There are some people that were, well older than me, and me being in my early 30s, that wouldn't, you have people that have been doing this for at least 15, 20 years, training to get to that point. And it reminds me of how much I still have to go with this process, just in terms of writing, right? People put 15, 20 years into their craft to be able to do that. I too need to stop thinking about the 8 years that I've put into this already and start thinking, hey, you're halfway to pulling your own, you're halfway to squatting your own 900 pounds, right? You're halfway to maybe to writing that masterpiece story that you've been thinking about doing. That magnum opus maybe that someday you'll get to when your craft is the best, right? You're halfway there in terms of skill. Remind yourself of that. Don't rush to necessarily get published and to need to be recognized right away. Understand this. You haven't, maybe, the thought of maybe I haven't paid all my dues yet. Maybe I still have plenty of dues to pay before I get discovered. It's hard to think about, but it's possible, right? And that was the element of it. The idea that kept kind of playing around my head. It kept going back to, you have a lot of time to put into this and you still aren't there, but it can be done. But then the other question becomes too is, what's going to put you all in? What is going to be your version of the guy taking copious amounts of steroids to lift that weight, right? Because the guy who does that, who's doing it basically, they're doing it because they're all in. Like when you do something that affects your health adversely and potentially is going to shorten your life and cause a lot of problems, a decade or two after, after now, right? Like a decade from now, they may have some adverse problems, right? They may die many years earlier. They may have plenty of issues with broken bones, tendons, what have you. People that are doing it with that knowledge. They know, at least, if not completely emotionally, they know logically that's going to shorten their life, but they're doing it because that's what it takes to do it. That's what it takes for them to get to that point, and what they want is worth that sacrifice. It's worth sacrificing even the shortening of their life so that while they are still alive, while they're still healthy, they can put this weight up. It means that much to them. And so if writing means that much to me, what am I not doing, right? Like what are my, what are the quote unquote steroids I should, what's the thing I should be sacrificing, for this sort of outcome, this sort of grave sacrifice, this sort of magnitude, magnanimous, maybe that's the word I'm looking for. What is that large sacrifice that I can make to get me to that next level? That is like the steroids, just, to throw that example out there. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is. For a long time, I identified that sacrifice and that goal of being someone that goes all in, right? For a long time, I've sort of thought, as I've gone through this right every day for the past almost year now, that me showing up every day, that is the sacrifice. That is the thing that I'm doing, that the others maybe aren't, that only the elite level at this, in this realm do, right? Only the elite writers write every day, right? But then the analogy maybe doesn't work, right? Because there are plenty of people that exercise almost every day and still never get to that level, right? And there are plenty of people that do write every day, and there are plenty of people that are very elite that don't write every day at all. Most published writers, most writers who win awards don't write every day. It's a common colloquial, it's a common expression, for sure, amongst those that are kind of writers that are trying to coach beginners, because you need to get the habit and build the skill up quickly, or at least relatively quickly. But most published authors do not write every day. I can tell you that, having just through the professors I've known and just the interviews you see with authors, most writers do not write every day. I mean, George R. R. Martin, his pace is quite common. To not, I imagine maybe you don't even hit the deadlines. So it's what is it, right? What is that thing? What is the thing I need to do? That thing that might cost me a lot in my life. The thing that might take away a lot in my life. What do I have to do to be the world class, right? To hit my own 900-pound squat here when it comes to the writing, right? What thing do I have to? What choice do I have to make? What sacrifice do I have to make? And what does it look like when I do it to get me to that magnum opus, to get me to that world class level that I'm trying to seek out? And I don't have the answer. I simply don't have the answer. I don't know if it is reading more than I'm reading now. I don't know. Is it reading more than I read now? Is it writing more than I write now? Is it writing for longer hours and durations? I don't know. And that for me is the difficult thing, is I don't know what it is. It's not easily defined. I can't look to other authors and see what they do and try to match it, because, to be so frank, I already feel like I have habits that are more consistent and more productive than those that have even achieved higher success than I am. Like I said before, there are plenty of authors that just simply don't write every day, as an example. So I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what that thing I've got to do, what sacrifice I got to make to get to the next level. I just don't know what it is yet. You've seen me take basically 6 months off from working, just to really improve my prose. in a short period of time into chance getting a book published, right? So I'm definitely a risk taker. I'm definitely willing to take the risk. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like, and that for me has become somewhat frustrating. Is I have to figure that out. I have to figure out what it is that I'm missing, what I need to do to get me to that next level. Hoping to find out, but I don't know what that is.